published. My last Vectrix VX-1 update video at the tail end of November. It is now the second week of February, and many of you have been reaching out and going, what exactly is going on with your two-wheel EV? Well, this is my Vectrix VX-1, and I guess it's high time for an update. For those who haven't seen the other videos in the series, and don't worry, we'll link to them below, this is my 2007 Vectrix VX-1. I purchased it at the tail end of September last year for the princely sum of $800 US, which was a steal compared to what it cost brand new. When it was brand new, it was very, very expensive. I'm not going to tell you how much because it was very expensive. It came from the factory with nickel metal hydride battery packs, and it's got kind of a cult following. The company that made this in the US went bankrupt many years ago. There was a company in Europe that made it until fairly recently, and it ended up disappearing too. And now the Vectrix name is associated with a different electric vehicle in China. But suffice to say, there are a huge number of people still supporting these and keeping them on the road, doing aftermarket mods, battery swaps, and all kinds of other things, which is why at the tail end of last year, I purchased this, because I've wanted to be back on two wheels for a really long time. As you might remember though, the last video I made was in November and I had my first off. I have never come off a motorbike before. I've been riding for 20 years, and just before Thanksgiving, I took a corner too quickly, realised, straightened the bike up, braked as hard as I could, slowed down to about 10 miles an hour, ran out of road, hit gravel on the side of the road, the bike went out from underneath me, and I landed on my left knee. Luckily, I was wearing all the gear. I'm an all the gear, all the time kind of gal, at Gat for the win, and even though I still managed to do some damage to my knee, I've hurt my meniscus, hopefully, at the time of filming, not enough to result in me getting surgery. Meniscus surgery is kind of dangerous and there's not a high success rate anyway, so I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that my knee is going to be sore probably for the rest of my life because I was an idiot on two wheels. Consider that your lesson. But since that accident, I've probably ridden HEMA, which is what we've called the Vectrix VX-1, probably about 3 times, and it's not because of the accident, it's been because of the weather. The weather here in the foothills of the Coast Range in Oregon has been really terrible. We've had lots and lots of rain. The ground is still sodding wet. It's going to start raining any minute now. In the intervening time between November and now, we had lots of rain, followed by lots of snow, followed by lots of ice. Not necessarily conducive to riding a motorbike, even if you are a keen biker. And this VX-1 has a bug in so much as when it gets really wet outside, the thermistors, which are used to check the temperature of the battery pack, they go a little bit awry, much like M's Chevrolet Volt before he traded it in for a shiny new Bolt. And so I don't ride this when it's wet. I'm still recovering from my knee. And last weekend I decided, hey, it's a nice dry day. I'm gonna take the covers off the bike and take it for a ride. But then the problem started. So when I took the cover off the bike, and it's a proper waterproof cover, and I turned the key, the dash came on, but the gasometer didn't. And I knew there'd be a problem. So I then turned the key off and the bike stayed on, which, you know, that's not a good thing. If you turn the ignition barrel back off again, everything should go cold and dark. But no, the light stayed on. And so I had to play let's unplug things. I had to unplug the main control unit, which is under here, and I'll show you that in a second. I also had to unplug the dashboard. And today I'm going to see if it was a water related issue, because there was a lot of moisture around prior to the nice dry day, or if in fact I have broken something and I'm going to need to replace it. So let's take a look-see. While you're watching me do this time lapse of taking the front off, I should probably let you know that the reason I'm working on my bike under my porch rather than in my garage is because my wife is currently fitting out the garage with insulation and drywall so that she can transform her wood shop from a really cold place to work to a really nice place to work in the winter. And that's obviously causing a lot of disruption in there for her. So I can't go into her wood shop and work on the bike. And the reason why I'm taking everything off and then putting it back on again is so that it doesn't look like I've opened a motorcycle repair shop at the front of my house. When this happened and the bike refused to turn off, someone on the WhatsApp group suggested that I unplugged this, which is the interface control model, the ICM, and they suggested that I unplugged this and this would allow all of the dash and everything else to go cold and dark. I've just taken this back off and we've been hit by a whiff of the remnants of what was once magic smoke, but I am going to plug everything back in because I'm curious to see if it's actually going to work or not. If you reconnect this and reconnect everything else and turn the bike on, it comes alive, but the gasometer doesn't do anything. And then if you remove the key, the dashboard stays on, which is bad, which makes me think maybe there's a short circuit somewhere in the bike that we're going to have to chase. Now, someone on the Vectrix WhatsApp group suggested that the actual problem is not with this. It's actually somewhere with the wiring loom further in the back. I am petrified that the problem actually is related to the battery control module, or rather the motor control module. So I'm going to unplug this. The prudent thing to do is to take all of the fairing off. Like I say, I want to fix that anyway. Do some diagnosing of the problem, trace wires, make sure nothing has gone bang. As I said, charger is a suspect, also the controller, which is underneath the seat, is a suspect. But if I'm going to take the bike apart to that level, I might as well take it completely apart and replace the batteries. And that, I'm going to be honest, is going to take a while. It's going to be at least $1,000 for the battery cells. I'm going to have to buy a new charger, which if I want to go lithium ion, which I do, is going to add another $1,000 on top. So it's not going to be a cheap project, and we're not flush with cash here at the channel, so it's going to take some time. Maybe I'll get a nice big fat tax rebate this year. I know that Oregon is giving some extra tax funds back to its citizens, so you never know. But I would like to get this running for the summer. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to do it though, because it's going to take a while to get this back on the road. And as those of you who watch YouTube regularly will know, when you are dealing with vehicles, it is always a good idea to make sure the vehicle is roadworthy before you take it on the road, to make sure everything is okay before you take it on the road. And this is clearly not okay right now. I know the tyres are good. I'd like to get the brakes replaced. These brake levers need some servicing. And I would like to get this to be able to travel more than 20 miles. So while it is a bit of a sad video update, I figured I owed you this much. If you are a Vectrix owner and you have any ideas as to what might be causing the problem, let me know. I think it's a ground fault. Like I say, charger or controller at the back. The batteries are going to have to come out anyway. There is definitely the smell, the odor magic smoke, that I can smell coming from somewhere. So let's take our time and make sure Hema can get back on the road safely in one piece. And if you're expecting me to do the battery swap like tomorrow, please be patient. Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling right by on your screen right now. They are some of the more than 1,500 people who help fund this channel every month through Patreon and YouTube, covering our bills, paying our team, and making sure that we can remain 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There are a range of different tiers you can sign up for, from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, just under $11 a year. A massive welcome to our newest supporters: Carl B. Knapp, Stoyle Pankoff, Smithers, John Strott, Kelly, Joseph Valentinetti, John Flint, and Nate Fritz. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your week of fame. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at. The address is also below. And if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store also in the down below. This month, we're campaigning for an end to charging deserts with an amazing new t-shirt design by our in-house artist and animator, Erin. Get yours today by heading to our Redbubble store. We've got some great content coming up, so make sure you're subscribed on PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll enjoy this video, but we think that this one is also well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving.